I'm sitting here with Kristen, and we have a really cool kind of webinar that we wanted to share with you, all about kind of a very popular topic right now during the holidays, and while we're trying to be, keep on track with our Get Lean program, some of the ways that we can kind of get through some of these pitfalls that come up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through this, and I just wanted to check. So I'm thinking what you're seeing is you should be seeing the GetLean All Star Club top 5 pitfalls during the holiday season. And then do you also see another slide, or do you just see the one slide?
I see that, and then the pitfall 1.
Okay, so no problem. That you will get a preview what's next, but I want you guys to focus on the slide that the first slide that you see as we're going through this. We only have 6 slides, but they're all just really important points. And at any point, if any of you have questions or thoughts or just things you want to discuss with the group, please let us know. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and get started after. Let's see. So I'm going to, obviously we have 5. Everybody likes a list, so we're going to go through them. Did I go to the next one? Ah, there we go. Awesome. I'm super high tech, as you can tell. So pitfall number 1, holiday stress eating. And Kristen, by the way, found these really awesome pictures. So I thought, I don't know if you knew that stressed is dessert spelled backwards, but we thought that was really, really cool. But as you can probably see from our notes, this is one of the really clinchers during the holidays, where there's just a lot going on. We're rushing, we're busy, and that kind of stressful feeling, a lot of times we kind of soothe with food, and it can be really a tough hurdle during this time. And so, with being part of this All-Star Club, it's also, not only the support, of being part of a group and having that accountability, but is also to really focus in on the basics that you learned with the Get Lean Challenge, and to kind of go back to those as kind of your go-to plan, especially, there are breaks and crazy times during the holidays where you can just kind of hunker down and focus on your 4 meals a day, 4 hours apart. Pretty challenging, but can absolutely be done sticking to your portion size. And the piece there that has a huge amount of benefits during a crazy stressful time is keeping up with your exercise, because what really happens is we tend to kind of put ourselves last when we're trying to make everybody happy and get our shopping done and all the things we need to do. And keeping up with your exercise is a great way to kind of keep on track and deal with some of that stress. And again, if any of you guys have questions or anything, just let us know. One thing that I think is really important is that your home be kind of a safe zone. And we have that in the notes, but to really think about it, because it's the holidays and there's a lot going on, doesn't mean you have to always partake in, quote unquote festive eating, and to really kind of save that for special times, and to have your normal time at home maybe be kind of free of a lot of the holiday stuff that throws us under the bus. And that's a good tip, so if you're baking cookies, bring them to the party and leave them there. Or if you have a very special holiday treat, then have that when you're out at a party and not have it at home. So that's kind of some tips around that. Does anybody have any comments on that?
And more than anything, I think what we wanted to emphasize with this first pitfall with the holiday stress eating is just, it's pretty basic, but just thinking of just being mindful of the fact that this is a stressful time of year for everyone. And, we all went through the Get Lean Challenge because we wanted to learn how to, move through life in terms of like eating in a different way and having food incorporated into our life in a different way. So that's why going back to the basics is such a great kind of like a safety, because you learned it during those 28 days. It was a really concentrated time and it locked it in. And so that's kind of like when things start to feel like there's just so much going on and to-do list is really long, it's just, going right back to what you already know, that works and what was successful.
And having the basics in your house, the foods that you are kind of your go-tos. So we're going to move on from pitfall number 1 to pitfall number 2, which I think you can see there. So this is definitely one that kicks me, but just feeling like there's these fun holiday treats, these seasonal goodies, and feeling like, wow, this is the only time of year I'm going to be able to have this, and I really want it, and it's they're so yummy, and maybe I'll just have it this one time type of feeling, and that's all true. I mean, it is, but what happens is that they add up, and over the course of time, what happens is we have these goals, and if too many times you're like, oh, this will be my last gingerbread latte, well, it starts to kind of whittle away at your resolve, and it can be very easy to then have your holidays roll kind of getting out of control. And so, some of the ideas that we thought of were, these treats are out there, and sometimes just a bite or two is enough, or just a couple sips is enough to kind of have you feel like, okay, I had that, and now I'm good. And the one thing I think you might notice too is if you have them pretty much on track, or even if you just it hasn't been that long from the last challenge, you may find this year these are really too sweet. You find that you're having been away from sugar a little bit, and the idea of them is so exciting, and then when you actually have them, you're like, oh, it's not that great, or 2 sips in and you're like, it's not really worth it. So, again, to what Kristen said, is that being mindful, and just maybe taking a second and just asking yourself, is this what I want to be my treat, or is this one not so important to me after all? And, again, like we said, bring things, if these are things, in a party situation, and you're like, wow, I never ever get to have this, whatever it is, having it at a party situation as opposed to having it at home or during times that
you can crowdsource it. So
yeah.
You get those fun cookies or baked items like the holiday cookies, the chocolate mint brownies, whatever only comes around once a year, and you take them to those places where you're going to be with like 5, 10, 12 plus people, and then you can have that one. Or one of my favorite tricks with like the Starbucks or Pete's drinks, like the specialty drinks, is they actually, like Starbucks in particular, they have, a lot of people don't know this, but they have a size called a short, which I can't remember what drink they put in it, but it's only 8 ounces. So you can just get that little short size just to get the taste of whatever fun drink that is, or like share it. Just it's things like that that help to kind of like, again, reprogram how you may have approached situations like that in the past, where by sharing things more as a group, you can enjoy them, but then still not have it undermine your focus on trying to stay on track and get the results that you're looking for.
So yeah, no, I mean, I just think about like these, like there's that eggnog latte at Starbucks, and Mike used to get that all the time until we found out that they're 400 plus calories and 35 to 50 grams of carb. I mean, it's this ridiculous amount. Where I was he got one, and I realized it was like half of what I would eat like for my whole day, and that was kind of sobering. Then he was kind of mad at me for telling him that, but the reality is that they're sneaky, and if you can kind of think of ways to get around them, that will help you stay on track, for sure. Okay, so it's so cute. So not enough time to work out. This is a huge thing over the holidays, and we all get it, because sometimes it just seems hard to peel away the time, and yet it's like such a double-edged sword, because it's the time we need it the most, during the stressful times, and during times when there's just so many more goodies that we want to parties and whatnot. And so this tip was really thinking about how can we kind of help our group, not only stay accountable, but have tips that are really usable and very real in everyday life. And of course, we always talk about being an exercise opportunist and knowing that just because you don't have maybe that hour to go to class at that time, to know that, hey, you know what, getting out and walking for 20 minutes is great. Getting out and hiking and making maybe a holiday, meeting somebody instead of meeting them for coffee, meeting them go on a walk on the coastal trail or a hike, and and doing something where it's kind of double, where you get to visit with a friend but also get your exercise in. The other thing is really think about, we get kind of stuck in a rut with, oh, these are the classes I go to, but you know what, maybe there's opportunities where all of a sudden a window opens up and you can run to class. So keep that EF schedule handy on your fridge, in your car, in your purse. And if it means highlighting at the beginning of the week when you're going, so that you do put the time aside. Kristen had a great plan, keeping a spare set of clothes in your car. It's just really about being ready at any time to jump in and do something. And really, I would say probably the number one way to do this is to get a buddy and either tell that buddy that you're planning to work out so that you hold each other accountable, or at least encourage your family to support you when you need to run away and possibly take a class. So the being an opportunist, to finding every little window you can, and whether you're at work and know you won't have time after work, get in a 15-20 minute walk or more during your work day if you can, and not feel like it has to be a big huge event, but just moving as much as you can helps a ton.
And especially with all of the things going on, all of the special events and work being maybe busy wrapping up at the end of the year, it's so helpful to calendar in your workouts, whether you use a calendar app on your phone or the weekly scorecard sheet that you received as part of your welcome packet. That's to not only record what you do, but you could even write in, if you're planning to say, take Power Blast class on Monday, write it in before you go. Like, you can actually plan your week out before the week even starts, and that helps to lock it in and really helps to make sure that you keep, exercise and working out a priority in your week to make sure you're getting in your workout time.
And guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed, it will lower stress. And especially when you're like just feeling frazzly, if you can just take that time to quickly change into your different shoes and head outside, or dig into your in your GetLean Challenge binder. We had 20-minute workouts. I think we had 3 or 4 different workouts that anybody can do. And I know it's sometimes hard to change gears and do that, but you are never ever sorry that you did, and feel pretty proud. And that's kind of that stress relief and that good feeling of doing something for yourself.
And speaking of stress relief, we have the extended stretch coming up.
Oh yeah, December 16th. We are doing an extended stretch with our strength and stretch class at 6 o'clock at night on Wednesday. So that's a great opportunity. Half an hour of the first part of the class is the strength portion, and then a full stretch for an hour. So just there'll be some information coming out on that soon. Special holiday. Okay, so I know I can't see you, so I can't say who has food all around the office, but if you work in an office, pretty certain that you do. And I had one time a client doing the GetLean Challenge sent me a picture of like 5 cubbies that were near her desk, and she texted me all these pictures and said, "Can you believe what I have to deal with every day?" It's really hard. And in fact, there's a lot of companies now too, I think they don't want people to leave, and so they fill a whole room full of snacks and goodies, and that's every day. And I think the holidays just is that much more food and treats sitting around. And
or teachers and nurses, and the common conference rooms with all of the treats that people bring in.
So this is probably one of the number one sneaky things that happens, because again, when we were sticking to basics and we kind of stuck to those every 4 hours, it really did keep you from snacking and making you think, wow, you know what, I don't want to mess up my timing, I'm just not going to go and grab those things. And that resolve tends to slip sometimes during the holidays. And so, what's really important is to just have a little knowledge around that. You know, Kristen was looking at, just a few bites of a few different things that seems pretty benign can actually add enough calories quite quickly to become a whole nother block. And the thing we're saying that is, that can happen here and there and not be a huge detriment or change to your, to your progress. But over time, if you're normally a 12 block or 11 block person and now you've upped it a couple blocks day in, day out, that will absolutely change how your results are going. It kind of changes the direction from what you want it to be. So, a lot of times I think it's just a lot easier not to snack or to make that kind of a meal. If there's, you can't make M&Ms a meal, but if it's like a potluck or type of thing. But otherwise, if you're going to a social get together at work, to have your meal that you brought beforehand, make sure you're drinking your water, and try to keep yourself from feeling so starving that you've got these cravings that are hard. And the other quick thing is that, again, the whole sugar piece of it, once you kind of start down that sugar road and having different sweets, it really does create, again, that whole cycle that's where, sugar begets more sugar, where you then crave it and start having those highs and lows. And so if you're mindful of it, if you're like, I'm going to do this, but then I've got a plan for after, then you're ahead of the game. But so this is really about, again, being mindful and making choices, but also knowing what your choice is, and knowing that you're choosing to go in and partake in different snacks or whatever, but also knowing that, hey, I've got a plan for how I'm going to handle that after or before. So and let's see, what else was I going to say that? Oh, the other thing about these is sometimes these parties are just really about it. They're really set up for people to, for the people at the work site to have it be a social get together, and especially where there's alcohol and whatnot. And so, you can also kind of decide which parties or which get-togethers are important to you, and where you want to just visit with people, and drinking sparkling water and just going around and being social is a great way to kind of avoid standing at the snack table and getting sucked into that.
So by important to you, Diana, just means like maybe there's certain parties where like a family party where there are desserts that you wait for every year, like a special cake or something like that, and you just know you want to go to that party and you really want to enjoy yourself and you don't want to have to think about just having your getting in your protein or whatever, versus other multiple work parties where you can go and it's not necessarily a big deal to not partake in some of the stuff they have that they're serving. So just kind of picking and choosing the events where you feel like you want to splurge a little bit more than others. And then, I mean, the biggest thing when you're going into a situation like that, obviously, is just, if you can, as much as you can, either make sure you get in your protein and healthy fat before you go, or even when you're at the party, just look for, really target those dishes where you can pull a little bit of protein out of it, and that's going to help to kind of, make the sugary carb stuff a little bit less of a draw, I guess you could say.
Right. And, I think we've talked about this before, but another great tip during these kind of food around the office things, or, if it's like some kind of potluck, is if you bring something, and if you bring something that you actually want to eat or feel like this is a great snack for me and it kind of provides you, that's also a great way to control the situation, is actually bring something yourself that you feel good about, and then then that makes that a little bit easier as well.
And a couple examples of those are from the Next Steps packet from the GLC. There's that turkey cranberry meatball recipe that's in there. That's a great appetizer to bring to parties. And then in the December recipe packet for GetLean All Star Club, there's a recipe in there for quiche cups, which is, they're super easy to make. You can make them in little mini muffin tins, and they're a great little bite-sized thing just to take with you and make sure that you're going to have something there to rely on.
Good idea. Those are great. That's great. Absolutely. So, so we figured this was a pitfall that a lot of people fall into, whether it's at work or really, anywhere, any party. And this one, I think maybe probably one of the most important of all, really is about, I mean, this is the cutest picture, but is really just about being kind of kind to yourself and not and kind of championing yourself for even wanting to be on track during this crazy time. It's so good. It's going to be so exciting for you to be, as you come through to the other side of the holidays, and to feel like, you know what, most people gain weight during this time, or they're eating in a way they don't really feel good or don't have energy, or potentially, kind of blow off their workouts. And you're going into this really looking for ways to stay ahead of it and stay on track, and to do your very, very best and be mindful. And you should be so proud of that, and kind of fired up about it. It's like, bring on the challenge. And one of the reasons that you join the All-Star group is to be able to also have the accountability and support of, comrades and a team that's going to have your back. And really good time of year to have that support and to feel like, hey, you can do this. Because if getting through the holidays, you can do that and break even, you're like way ahead of the game. And let alone, be a time that you're actually trying to work on some of the habits that you've started. So, I would say, and Kristen, I mean, we absolutely, all of us agree, and I'm positive you do as well, is that, you should just really believe that, just being part of the All-Star Club and wanting to stay on track is such a great thing, and is so far ahead of some of the momentum that a lot of people won't be feeling until January.
Yeah, for most people, they just let it turn into a landslide into January. So just the fact that even attempting to try and, maintain or even have a weight loss goal during the month of December is really impressive. So just making sure to give yourself kudos for even trying to stay on track. In the notes, we're just kind of like, one of the analogies that I like to think about is, trying to stay on track in the month of December feels like you're swimming against the current. It's like everything, the momentum is going one way and you're trying to swim up the other. And it can feel, definitely can feel hard sometimes, but it also is what makes you stronger. Going into those situations that feel a little bit more challenging or uncomfortable, the more you do them, the easier it gets. And, I think the main thing too is to just not necessarily, obviously not to expect perfection. Even just going into one party this month where you navigate it differently than you might have before is a huge win, because it's a step-by-step process, going from, showing up at a party and just completely, indulging in alcohol and the sugary treats and everything, to trying to be super clean. I mean, it's not necessarily a sustainable result long term. It's a huge leap to make. So just looking at it in terms of, if I can just approach, certain things during the season differently than I might have, then it's progress, and it's something to definitely celebrate.
So, and I think the one thing is, to think about too, is that you all have the tools and the support to just get back on track. I mean, that's the thing. So pretty much every single person is going to have some times that they just enjoy, and they, or make decisions, or like, oh, maybe it wasn't exactly what you had planned, and that is okay. That it really is. But it's just, it's how you get back on track that is important. And, we kind of just wanted to have that opportunity to, throw out some ideas, some tools, some positive support for you, and wanted to open that up to, yeah.
I just want to see if anyone's chatted in.
Oh, okay. And wanted to throw it out there. If anybody had any questions, you can just type in, any questions you might have, since a lot of you I know are muted, or if you had, just any comments at all. We'll have this recorded, and Mike will put it out on the website or Facebook page. But we're here for you, and at any point at all, if you have questions along the way or just need some extra support, please don't feel like you can't reach out. That's the whole point of the All-Star Club. Okay, well, if everybody's cool and no questions, we'll go ahead and end this this webinar and plan on, looking at doing this again. We'd like to do something once a month. And again, I throw it out to you if you have any ideas of things you'd like to have presented or learn more about. We'd be really open to hearing that as well.
And just looking ahead to January, there will be emails going out about this pretty soon. But the next GLC will be launching on January 2nd, 22nd.
22nd, right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here, those of you who are here, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thank you.
Happy holidays.